Hello, my dear friends. I hope you all are enjoying the world of literature, and at present you are on your favorite channel related with English literature, that is Lit E City. Okay, friends, after a long period, we are back with one of the greatest poets of English literature, that is William Blake. My dear friends, if you are interested in English poetry especially, you must have known that he is a person gifted with precocious poetic talent, and he was one of the great progenitors of English romanticism. In fact, he is very difficult to categorize. He has such a streak of mysticism, romantic quality, classical satirical poise that William Blake really is a difficult poet to study, and as well as a simple poet even for children poetry. So, as William Rossetti, another important poet, has quoted about him, he is a glorious luminary. बहुत मज़ेदार होगा if we come to study, if we discuss some of his works and what are the special qualities of his poetry. So let's start this presentation on William Blake. Okay, friends, first important thing about William Blake is that he is basically a poet, a painter, an engraver. This is also important, and he is a visionary. Now, he had visions, spatial visions, dreams right from an early age. He told his mother that how he see angels weeping and such kind of supernatural stuff. At the age of 21, he joined Royal Academy. Dear friends, उस समय रॉयल एकेडमी इंग्लैंड का प्रीमियर इंस्टीट्यूशन था पेंटर्स के लिए. सर जोशुआ रेनॉल्ड्स, he was the honcho of this particular institution. Initially, Blake tried to learn, and very soon he became quite disappointed with the age-old techniques that were taught there, and being disappointed, he just learned the art of engraving, and then he left the academy for well. Okay, if we talk about his earliest work, that is poetical sketches. Now, poetical sketches, my dear friends, is basically his earliest work, and it was published in 1783, and it is basically the first collection of both poetry and prose, and it was published with support of his two friends, John Flaxman and Mrs. Harriet Matthew. यहाँ ये जानना बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है that later Mrs. Harriet Matthew withdrew her support because of iconoclastic ideas, because of radical thinking of William Blake. Now, what is in poetical sketches? There are 19 lyrics, 3 prose poems, an unfinished drama which is about King Edward III, and prologues. So basically it's a kind of melange of various ideas which he calls his earliest poetry. If we move forward, then we have in this particular collection spring, summer, autumn, winter. These are the basic opening 4 poems of poetical sketches. They are invocation to these 4 English seasons, and they are often seen as offering of early version of 4 of the figures of Blake's later mythology. We all know that in his later work, Blake basically presented his own mythology. He basically created a new sort of mythology which is different from traditional Grecian or Roman mythology. It also includes one of his earliest popular poem, To the Evening Star, and this particular poem is inspired by Spenser's Epithalamion, which is a marriage song. He was quite impressed, he was quite influenced by the poetry of Edmund Spenser, who is also known as poet's poet, और उनका ये जो poem है उस पर based है. Okay, moving ahead, there is this poem, An Island in the Moon. Now friends, An Island in the Moon is basically an unfinished prose satire. In this particular satire we can find that earliest inclination of the rejection of contemporary society and church. Now from examination point of view, what you have to remember that he presented his own voice through the character of Quid the Cynic. This is the character in this play, An Island in the Moon, and this character is basically we can say he's the spokesperson of Blake. He presents those ideas which Blake cherished, and there is also the first reference to his illuminated writing, which we will find later is a major contribution, major experiment of Blake in his poetry. Okay, what is this illuminated writing? Dear friends, basically illuminated writing is nothing but basically it is a technique which is invented by Blake. The text and design on a copper plate with an impervious liquid. What is impervious liquid? Plate is dipped in acid. Now this liquid is impervious to this acid. ये liquid जो होता है एसिड इसके ऊपर फर्क नहीं डाल पाता, तो जो रिमेनिंग कॉपर प्लेट होती है इट इज डिजॉल्व्ड एंड बेसिकली टेक्स्ट और डिजाइन जो उस इंक के अंदर है वो रिलीफ में वो ऊपर उभर कर आ जाता है. रिलीफ हेयर मींस कॉपर प्लेट डिप्लीट हो जाती है और टेक्स्ट और इमेज उसके ऊपर उभर कर आ जाता है. This plate could be used to print on paper and final copy would be then hand color. हाथ से उसको कलर कर दिया जाता है. And this illuminated writing, ये जो word है illuminated writing, it is basically used by Blake and later it is also called relief etching. ये दोनों technique basically they are same name for two different devices. Okay, so first book which is his experiment on relief etching or illuminated writing is There Is No Natural Religion, which was published in 1788, and then All Religions Are One, which is again published in 1788. These two are the first successful experiments in illuminated writing. Okay, dear friends, please remember this fact. ये पहली दो बुक्स थी जो उसके अंदर पॉपुलर हुई. Basically illuminated writing is combination of image and text. You can in the background see the particular images. And what are these books about? These are not poems, they are basic philosophical aphorism, witty things, or what we can say proverbs. Blake was quite fond of presenting his ideas in the form of proverbs. ये हम बाद में भी उनकी राइटिंग के अंदर देखेंगे. ओके, moving ahead, we have his greatest work, one of the greatest works of the romantic period and also English literature, Songs of Innocence, which was published in this year 1789. Year is also important. Basically हम जानते हैं कि there is a counterpart also, Songs of Experience. It was first published as a single part, then these both are published in collective edition. Now in Songs of Innocence there are total 19 poems. And what is this Songs of Innocence? There is presentation of an unfallen world, an Edenic world, एक type का paradise या Edenic, innocent, everyone is happy, innocent, and there is a perception of pastoral harmony before this modern civilization begin, उससे पहले का जो एक we can say prime of the earth है उसको present किया गया थ्रू most of the characters जो हैं वो local या rural background के अंदर बताए गए हैं. Okay, if we talk about for example this beautiful lines, little lamb who made thee, dost thou know who made thee, gave thee life and bid thee feed by the stream and over the mead. This is basically, we all know that from little lamb. My mother bore me in the southern wild, and I am black, but oh, my soul is white. White as an angel is the English child, but I am black as if bereaved of light. It is the black boy. When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while yet me tongue could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in soot I sleep. What a beautiful, what a poignant presentation, pathetic condition of the chimney sweeper. The chimney boy is the poem. Okay, then we move ahead chronologically, and we have Turian, or the Book of Hell, which is once again published in 1789. Okay, now what is in this Book of Hell? There are basically 8 plates, and it is one of his early prophetic book. We all know that he later wrote many prophetic books, but it is one of the early prophetic books. It is basically a rejection of English church. Once again, he proved to be an iconoclast, a typical romantic, because he was against the contemporary system of religion. Does the eagle know what is in the pit, or will thou go ask the mole? Can wisdom be put in a silver rod, or love in a golden bowl? You can very well see these lines. Wisdom is put in a silver rod. That is direct reference to the ecclesiastical authorities, or love in a golden ball. It is basically a motto of Hell. So next we have very popular work by William Blake, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. It is started in 1790, and then it completed in 1793. Okay, basically this book is direct, that even the title is directly taken from Emanuel Swedenborg, who was a very popular religious philosopher of that time, and the title even indicate at his teachings. It is basically in prose. There are total 24 plates, and the argument and the song of liberty, these two parts are in verse, rest of the plates are in the prose. And here marriage of heaven and hell, what Blake wants to present, क्या प्रस्तुत करना चाहता है basically, कि how these two are not opposite, but they are contrary, and contraries are very important for life. For example, the evil is the body, desire, energy, action, abundance and freedom, while the good is the soul, reason, restraint, passivity and prohibition. And the famous his prologue, without contraries is no progression, attraction and repulsion, reason and energy, love and hate are necessary to human existence. So it is given in this The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. Then we have in this Marriage and he gave his very famous definition. Milton was a true poet and of the devil's party without knowing it. This particular attitude, point of view of the romantic poetry, that Milton was the champion of Satan, because Satan is sort of an underdog looking for liberty. It is this attitude which can be seen in many of the romantic poets, and we can say that Blake was the first one to point it out. A very popular section of the marriage of heaven and hell is the Proverbs of Hell. In this Proverbs of Hell section, he invert the book of Proverbs, which is basically a very good part of the Old Testament. And look at the Proverbs, how basically they are against the traditional teachings of church. Prisons are built with stones of law, brothels with bricks of religion. The pride of the peacock is the glory of God. The lust of God is the bounty of God. The wrath of the lion is the wisdom of God. The nakedness of women is the work of God. So we can say that all those things which are considered to be negative energy, he basically points out that they all are created by God. One and all, everything is created by God. So these are his proverbs. One memorable fancy, it is also part of this marriage of heaven and hell. If doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is. And how it will appear? Infinite. Doors of perception, this particular idea is then taken by Aldous Huxley also. The man who never alters his opinion is like standing water and breeds reptiles of mind. Once again, a romantic notion that we have to change. Change is the eternal rule of, inevitable rule of nature. Once again, Blake gives this idea. So friends, this was the first part of our lesson on William Blake. We will soon come with the next video where we will discuss the later books by Blake, which are his prophetic books. I hope you are enjoying these videos. I would love to hear from your side what are the things we can do to make these videos better. Thank you, friends.